Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm drinking on some Royal Club, just some cheapo stuff. I was going to talk about this upcoming game against Mississippi State. Man, the Dogs are going to have to pull everything out to just win against Mississippi State and really win out. The defense has not gotten better, which I hope they were going to get better over the bye week going into Florida. Didn't happen, so what's the next best thing? Just get out of there with a win and get out of there with a win against Texas and then against Georgia Tech. And then what that gives us is what? A good period, a good month before the college playoff starts, or a good few weeks. So our defense can get better, because I think Kirby, they were showing the defense is getting better. Don't get me wrong, they're getting better, but they're going to have to get a lot better if we're going to want to win a national championship. Gotta believe. All that doubt that everybody was talking about before the start of the football season about the Georgia Bulldogs, all that doubt before the start, at the beginning and into now. And I know people are feeling it now. It's creeping in. You're doubting the Dogs. Don't doubt them. Don't doubt Kirby Smart. You ain't seen nothing yet. Why would we open up the playbook against Florida? We're saving it for Texas. All we got to do is get out there with a win. We don't have to go in there and be dominant. That dominance ain't going to happen this year. Not from this team. Just get in there and win. That's all we can ask for. Let me get a shot real quick. Get a chug of this. Yeah. Mississippi State's going to be a hard place to play at because of them damn cowbells. Them cowbells are just ding, 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 ding. But that's what separates elite teams from average teams. Can you go and play in a hostile environment like we did it? We've already done it. We did it against Tennessee. I think Mississippi State's another level of intensity, though, because when them cowboy bells are ringing, I would imagine a cowbell is going to be more offbeat than somebody screaming. That's just what I think. It works. That's what I'm saying. It works for Mississippi State. If it didn't work, I wouldn't even be talking about it. I know my damn Ranger, my Ford Ranger, it's coming, 2007 Sport 4x4, it's coming up on a slew of goddamn shit that I've been putting off, and it's just needed it for a while. Like new fuel injectors again, but go with some good ones, good brand. Go with probably Summit Racing or MSD or something. I mean, really at this point, I really don't want to tear that intake manifold off again. Or unless I'm replacing the head gasket, and that gets to another thing. Go ahead and just replace the head gasket for sound, knowing that I won't have to worry about the head gasket going to 300,000 miles. So go ahead and replace the head gasket bolts. Maybe even replace the push rods, depending on how they look. Maybe the rocker arms. Definitely replace the spark plugs, the ignition coil, the plug wires, air filter. Maybe mass airflow sensor. Got some new throttle position sensor on it, so I'll let that go another $50,000. It's going to need a slew of work underneath it. It's going to need new front diff oil, new back diff oil. Got some new front drive shaft, but at 150,000 miles, Ford calls for a new front drive shaft on the Ford Ranger. Well, guess what, Ford? It went out at 100,000. So anyway, got that replaced, so that's good. Gonna need new shocks. Got new brakes. I replaced them a few weeks ago. So got some new brakes, new shocks. Go ahead and put new brake fluid in it. Drain the old. Has new transmission fluid. change the oil, I guess. I've already done that, but just go ahead and do it again so I can kind of log all this at 150. Probably a new drive belt, new timing chain, new water pump, which is on its third water pump. That's something, them engines, them Ford Rangers, the water pumps, they go out like crazy. So yeah, go ahead and put a new water pump on it. Like I said, head gasket, valve cover gasket, new rocker arms and push rods if it needs it. I don't know about new rocker arms, but just adjust them. I don't know. Won't know until I actually get down there and look at all that shit. New intake manifold gaskets. Let's see. Maybe I think a new PCM control module, PCM sensor. Go ahead and do the EGR valve sensor. Go ahead and do basically every sensor. I've already replaced the cam and the crank sensors, so I would call them good for another 30, 40. So yeah, probably about $3,000 to $4,000 worth of fucking work is fucking money is gonna have to be spent to. It'd probably be cheaper than that because I've noticed Amazon's gonna have a lot of this stuff super cheap. Like Rock Auto, you can get the push rods for like $1. You can get the rocker arms for like $5 off Rock Auto. This stuff ain't that expensive. It's just you gotta actually be able to go in there and fucking do it. You gotta mechanically inclined know how to do it without fucking it up. But it needs it. It needs it. If you want to take the engine, I know a lot of people say you probably don't need to do that. Probably don't need to do that. Probably shouldn't do that. I said if you're gonna go all the way down to the head gasket, why not just go ahead and replace the push rods and replace all that stuff? I mean, then some people say, well, if you're gonna do that, you might as well just tear the whole engine down and replace everything. Yeah, you're right. Replace it with better, replace it with better Summit Racing cams, crankshafts, whatever. If I was going to put the Wiffle supercharger on it, which I thought about it, which that motherfucker's $2,000, but it is, you could only get it on the Sport. This is where the Sport Ranger, a lot of people are like, oh, the Sport Ranger, that's like the regular Ranger. No, it's not. Same with the FX. The FX had limited slip torsion fucking differentials. So it had, it was just as good as a Jeep, but whatever. Chevy fanboys can keep, S10 this, S10 that. There was never an S10 or Chevy Colorado built to the standard of them Ford FX Level 1 and FX Level 2. Them trucks are the holy grail of Ford trucks, I feel like. The people, go look on your marketplace and see if you can find one for sale. And that'll tell you how fucking good they are. People don't want to get rid of them. What the hell was I even talking about? But yeah, the Sport 4x4 and the FXs with the 3-liter, it has bolt holes. So like when you take the intake manifold off on a Sport Ranger with the 3-liter or the FX, it has screw holes that are meant to accept the Wiffle supercharger. And yes, adding the Wiffle supercharger adds about 50 horsepower and about 70 foot-pounds of torque. So it turns that truck into the Danger Ranger that people know about. Which a lot of them were the 4-liter Rangers. But the 3-liter with the Wiffle, it becomes, has like 30 more horsepower than the 4.0. It's a lot better engine. The 3-liter is a better engine, being a push rod. That was when Ford, Chevy, all them, they built the push rod engine, right? Chevy somehow forgot how to build a push rod engine. Their bread and butter. A lot cheaper too. Because usually the thing about a push rod is the cams, they're pushing the push rod. So the cams, they never get worn because they're just pushing a little rod going up to the rocker arm. On a double overhead cam engine, they're actually having to push the valve. The cams get worn out more. So actually a push rod engine lasts longer then double overhead cam engine, double overhead cam, single overhead cam, a push rod engine, which is an American style engine. It lasts longer. And like I said, in the old days, replacing rocker arms, push rods, that was a common thing. That, a car hit 200,000 miles, it's time to replace it all, tear the whole engine down, rebuild it. They don't do that no more, because instead what happens are engines, they get remanufactured at like a warehouse. So that's what mechanics do now. Instead of, a mechanic doesn't even know how to rebuild shit no more. Not the everyday mechanic. Not like me. So they don't know. So the best thing to do is they tell the customer, we can't do it, so we can replace it with this remanufactured engine. Well, the remanufactured engine had to be rebuilt by someone. So that's where all the engine builders are going. That's what I've seen, to rebuild engines. If I wanted to become an engine mechanic and rebuild engines, I would have to go work in a warehouse for fucking MSD or something, rebuilding junkyard engines that will be sent to dealerships, to mechanics, because they do not rebuild anything no more in a dealership. They don't rebuild anything. Instead, they just plug and play. New engine, new transmission, new front diff, new back diff. New everything. No rebuilding. New master cylinders. That's a master cylinder. That's something, I feel like if you want to be called a mechanic, you got to be able to show me you can rebuild a master cylinder on a bench. It's not that hard. It's just you just rip it apart and put new rubber seals in it and put it back together. A lot easier said than done, though. Then getting into a transmission, you got to be a specialist to do that. Or even an engine, which there is rebuild engine shops, but they only specialize in older engines. So, 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, older engines that you can't fucking go out and buy a remanufactured, 228 or 229 Ford Boss engine. You got to go and have it rebuilt. So them exist, but like if you want to go get your modern day vehicle rebuilt, your modern day engine, nah. They don't know how to do it. So that's what I'm saying. It's shifted to, like I said, I am going to do all this work, which is a lot of money, which it'd probably be cheaper than that. If I can look around and find the certain components cheaper here or there. And it needs a new rack and pinion. But trust me, dropping $3,000 to $5,000 in that truck, might as well just go ahead and have the underneath just sprayed with bed liner. For real, just have it fucking decked out. Get new center caps for the Mickey Thompson rims. They're all rusted to hell and back. The fucking retards in the years changing the tires on it fucking scratched it up, and then it started rusting, and now they're fucked. That's what that Sport 4x4, that's what the Sport 4x4, the Tremor, and the FX, that's what it allowed them different rims. They were Alcoy rims, which were basically chrome-plated steel rims. Not like my Mickey Thompsons. My Mickey Thompson rims, them are magnesium rims. So as long as you shine them up with metal polish, Mothers or Blue Magic, whatever, it doesn't matter the metal polish, but it will look just as good as chrome, and I think looks better. Like at nighttime when it gets into that Eclipse look, and I've seen my rims completely shined up next to some chrome bullet rims, and didn't look as good. The chrome didn't. The Alcoy. That's what whoever owned that truck before me, they seen that they didn't like the way them rims looked, and they went and got them Mickeys. Them Mickeys are some nice rims. They look, oh man, them them rims, they would make a 2000, 11, 2000, whatever Mustang. It'd make it pop. It'd make it look good. The detriment, though, is what it's done is it's destroyed the rack and pinion system on that pickup truck, because it was only meant to have fucking street tires, basically. Whatever the tires that came with it from the factory. And when we got it, it was under warranty, and they replaced it. And Ford, they act like they didn't want to replace it. Ford didn't. But they finally, after 3 weeks, they finally replaced it. We got it back. It started leaking within, and I told my dad, and I was like, do we really want to go through the rigmarole of taking it out there and them saying like, all right, new rack and pinion, and then it'd be out there, it would be out there for like weeks, months on end. I said, let's just buy some fucking stop leak, some power steering stop leak from Prestone. And sure as shit, it stopped it. The stop leak from Prestone, it stopped it. But here's the thing though, when it switches the weather, so like it gets cold, you got to put some more in it. When it gets hot, you got to put some more in it. But it works. Like the power steering stop leak works. So if you ever have a power steering leak or whatever, don't run to the mechanic and get it switched. Buy some of that stop leak. I am a proven example. This rack and pinion got 60,000 miles on it. It blew out in the first 5,000 because the tires are too big. The tires are too big. It has all-terrain tires. It needs the upgraded rack and pinion from this off-roading company online. They build rack and pinions just for this situation. And I looked at it years ago, and they built one for the Ranger. So you got to go with something like that. Or put the smaller tires back on it. That's what I would have to do. The thing is, I'm stuck in a rigmarole, or I'm stuck in a bad place because I don't have the factory rims. So I'd have to go buy the factory rims, which are, I don't know, what, 200, 300, 400, I don't know how much they are a piece. I want them to look nice. I ain't going to want to just go buy some shitty steel rims. I'm going to want some nice rims. So it's, I'm fucked basically. Like, should have demanded that from the Ford dealership. Like, I want the factory rims with this, and all right, whatever, we'll pay for it just so I could have it if I wanted to go back. Because now it's going to be like $800 for some new rims, some nice, stainless steel chrome rims. The actual factory rims, which looked really nice on them Sport 4x4s. It's the person who changed them out, they just wanted the Mickeys on it. They might have had the Mickeys on a different vehicle, and, they put it on that. Whatever. I've always thought, too, that 15-inch rim, that's a little small. I thought the factory one was 17-inch. So, that changes the tire completely. Like, you look at my tire, it's all tire, like on the side. Sidewall is not as big on a 17-inch or even a 20-inch, obviously. And this video is going for 18, 19 minutes. But yeah, hopefully Georgia can pull it off, and hopefully we don't get upset this weekend, which they're all going to be calling for it. All the sports media people. That's why people like Toyotas, because all this work I'm talking about probably wouldn't have to be done to a Toyota Tacoma pickup truck. Even though it should be done. It's like one of them things, just because it will go to 200,000 miles on the front diff oil doesn't mean you should do it. Playing roulette with your truck, playing roulette with your Toyota. Like I said, on the Ford, it should have been changed 20,000 miles ago. So the Toyota, if it's 20,000, it should be changed at about 170,000 or 180,000. Just a good rule of thumb. Whatever it says, go about, if it's 10, 100, or 1,000, go under that. Or 2,000, 3,000. Like if it's an oil change, Do not go 15,000, 20,000 miles. Go 5,000 miles. Or I'd go 3,000. If the oil looks good, go 5,000. If it looks good, go to 8,000. But then at 8,000, I wouldn't go any higher than 5,000. I'm being honest. If you care about your vehicle, if you really care about your vehicle. Now, if you know it's a shit box, you only paid so much for it. Who cares, right? That Ranger was cheap when we got it. Second used at 74,000 miles. That's when I got it. It had 74,000 miles. Or maybe about 72. I think it was actually 72. Then 74 was when they did the oil change on it. So even Ford wanted to do a quick oil change on it. That was because they wanted that money. They didn't give a shit about the truck. The dealership. I guess they do and they don't. It doesn't really matter. That's what I think. It was $10,000. So we traded in that PT Cruiser. That got about 3,000. It was really about 2,800. It was not a lot. And because my dad had been a Ford buyer, years ago, they recognized that and they were like, because you came back and brand loyalty, blah, 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 they gave him another discount. That truck was only $10,000. He paid it off. My dad paid it off right. And I remember we were talking about it. It was a few months ago. And he was like, out of all the shit that I bought in my life, all the vehicles, everything, he said, do you know what the best buy was? And of course, I said his Chevy Cavalier that he bought brand new back in the Chevy Cavalier with the V6. He said, no. He said, your Ford Ranger. He said, that Ranger is the best buy, best truck, best car ever he ever bought. And this was he said this this was a few months ago because he looked online and he seen the prices of what the Rangers cost now. They're expensive. To get one like mine, you can't even find it. A Sport 4x4 single cab with either V6 engine, you can't find it without paying for it. We found one. It wasn't even a V6. It wasn't a Sport either, but it was a 4x4. But it was the 4-cylinder. It was the 2.3. It was a 4x4, but they wanted $25,000 for it. I said, "Wow! If you could find a Sport 4x4 with 40,000 miles in that condition, it'd be a $35,000-$40,000 pickup truck." That's how good them trucks are. I looked it up. There's a fucking $40,000 Ranger, $25,000. Like, wow. It's wow because it's become more valuable. The Ranger has. That truck was like $20,000 brand new. So with 40,000 miles, it's somehow gained $5,000 in money. That's because they know what they are. They're that reliable. I could do none of the work I'm talking about, and it'd probably still run to 200,000 miles fine but it would have some problems though. And you're getting into even more money. Instead of replacing the front diff oil or doing this or doing that, now you're replacing the whole front differential, which is $1,000 probably. So that's what I'm saying. It helps helps to do this stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. This is going on 25 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and end the video. I hope everybody has a great day and has a great week. Hope the Dogs can pull it off against Mississippi State. They're going to give us a game. I know they are. Just like Florida did. Hell yeah. Go Dogs. Beat Mississippi State.